Test, test, test. There are spots up here, and I'm going to ask that please nobody lean against that wall. So if your chairs are on that wall, they need to come off and don't lean against it because it's very expensive and we've had it ripped before. So thank you.
I just want to let everyone know, we can't open the wall. I mean, it's set up for elections, so security reasons and a couple others, we can't open that back wall, but there's some room up here yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start in about probably 2
Test.
minutes. If you do need copies of today's agenda or resolution, we do have some on the desk by the doors if you miss those coming in, so you might want to go and grab one. Find a seat. Again, we're looking at about a 2-minute warning here. So. Welcome, everyone. At this time, I'd like to call to order our February 10th special meeting of the McLeod County Board of Commissioners. Can we now stand for our Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first agenda item today will be consideration of our agenda. We will add to consider a time limit for input.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I move a 3-minute public time limit.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for a 3-minute time limit on input today. And we do this to give everybody a fair opportunity to speak. Okay, that is the number one reason. We don't want to, again, we just want to create that opportunity so everyone has time. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any other additions or corrections to the agenda? We'll need a motion to approve.
No other changes.
Hearing none, I move to approve with the addition.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Kruger, second by Nagel to approve today's agenda. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to administration. Call on Ms. Murphy.
Good morning. Item A, consideration of resolution 24-CB-14, opposition to North Star Act, referenced in State File 2724 and House File 2860. I will read the resolution as well, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
whereas a sanctuary state is a jurisdiction that restricts state and local officials from cooperating with federal immigration enforcement efforts, and whereas it is the duty of Congress to establish all laws and rules regarding naturalization, and whereas the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified on July 9, 1869, and granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. And whereas law enforcement in McLeod County is dedicated to protecting the communities they serve and promoting public safety, requires the assistance and cooperation of the community, so law enforcement has the ability to gather the information necessary to investigate and deter crime. And whereas the McLeod County Board of Commissioners supports all law enforcement officers, federal, state, county, and municipal, upholding the Constitution of the United States and the state of Minnesota. And whereas the legislature is reviewing approval of Senate File 2724 and House File 2860, effectively making Minnesota a sanctuary state by prohibiting law enforcement, county employees, and schools from collecting information on immigration or citizenship status, prohibiting the sharing of any other information about individuals for the purposes of immigration enforcement, and prohibiting the use of county resources for immigration enforcement, and whereas State File 2724 and House File 2860 interferes with the county and its employees' ability to perform current functions, imposes implementation hurdles and burdens upon the county, creates ambiguity and possible conflicts with federal law, may subject the county and its employees to statutory violations, employment consequences, and possible civil and criminal liability. And whereas McLeod County supports legal immigration and the positive impact it provides for our communities and the local and state economy, and whereas McLeod County citizens should not be negatively impacted from results caused by illegal immigration and the North Star Act on the budgeting of taxpayer dollars and public resources. Now therefore be it resolved, the McLeod County Board of Commissioners hereby urges our legislative delegation and the governor to reject the North Star Act proposals in Senate File 2724 and House File 2860, and give ample acknowledgement to public and local government input and the true impact of a sanctuary state designation. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I'll now call on our county attorney, Mr. Hench, to perhaps give a legal perspective on the impact and our abilities here today.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And in particular, just as far as the scope or the effect of the resolution that's before the board today, we've received some questions regarding its context, its purpose, or the possible effect of the proposed resolution. Whether the effect of the resolution would be contradictory to state law or have some other certain legal effect. And if you review the draft resolution that was just read, you'll see it doesn't seek to enact a local ordinance or defy state or federal law in any way. What it would do as drafted would be to make a statement on behalf of McLeod County through its board to urge the legislature and the governor not to enact a bill that would make Minnesota a quote-unquote sanctuary state, and would instead urge the legislature and governor to support and adhere to federal immigration laws. The draft legislation that's referenced in the proposed resolution today includes prohibitions on county and local employees and officials' conduct. That includes law enforcement officers and staff, human services employees and staff, local school officials, and more. The draft includes proposed statutory violations and employment misconduct allegations for those covered by the legislation, so it would have impact on McLeod County and the other counties in the state if passed. So this isn't enacting any sort of local law that would delve into the immigration context, but it would be a statement to our legislature and governor if passed today. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, I'll just briefly address how we got here today in a special meeting on a Saturday morning. Typically, board meetings happen every other week. So that only gives us small windows to take up business items. This item has definitely gained a lot of steam over the past few weeks, and Commissioner Kruger watches these things much closer than the rest of us. And at our last board meeting, it was brought up and added to our agenda to have discussion on the North Star Act, and then we did have a draft resolution in our hands during that meeting. We did take a recess trying to figure out how we were best going to handle that. It wasn't in the agenda ahead of time, and typically we want things like that to be posted so we have opportunity for public input. Under the direction of our county attorney, the option of having a special meeting was the first thing that came up. And so we wound up on a Saturday morning. It was the nearest that we could find, because we definitely wanted to have this seen prior to the session starting, which is next week. And so that puts us here on a Saturday morning. It has asked a lot of our administrative staff, but we definitely want to thank everyone for coming on this opportunity of a special meeting. This is typically not normal for us to meet on a Saturday morning, but it was that important to us to make sure that we see this prior to that session starting. With that, we will open it up to public input. Again, we'd like you to stay at 3 minutes. This is the resolution. I don't think there's a plan to change it, to add, subtract. This is what is fairly put in front of us today. If you have comments, we'd ask that you please give us your name, your address. This is being videotaped. It could be aired at some point in time. We might know who you are, but not everybody else does that may watch. And so we, again, that time limit is there to give ample opportunity. And if you agree with it, maybe just making a simple statement in the essence of time is the best. But we're here to hear what your input is on the matter today. So are there any other comments from board members, or are we ready to open it up for comment?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I just want to note that if anyone does comment, please, you have to come to the microphone. It will not be recorded if you don't. And when our chair says your address, you do not need to give your street address. It would be your city or your township in McLeod County or wherever else you are from. We don't want your personal address on our YouTube channel. Please, thank you.
Thanks for that. Comments, anyone, or should we open it up?
Mr. Chair, you covered it very well, thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. At this time, there's the microphone. Anyone may take their 3 minutes or less. Go ahead, Senator.
Now it's on. Oh, well, thank you. And I certainly, as your state senator, Glenn Gruenhagen, Glencoe, Minnesota, I appreciate the nice turnout today. This is a critical issue for our state, nation, our county, and all across the state of Minnesota in a number of areas, which obviously most of you understand or you wouldn't be here. Second thing, I want to thank the people who wrote that resolution. Excellently done. I especially appreciate the part about legal immigration. We all support legal immigration. It's illegal immigration that we have a problem with because of the crime, the fentanyl overdoses, illegal drugs, healthcare, education, and a host of other reasons. So we need legal immigration. We're short workers in our healthcare, our businesses, and a number of other areas. And remember, we're all great-great-grandchildren of immigrants that came over here legally. So we support that. And by the way, illegal immigration is not only bad for our state and our nation, it's bad for the illegal immigrant because they have to go through a gauntlet down at the border of sexual exploitation, illegal drugs, paying cartels up to $7,000 per person, and they're becoming million and billionaires down there to get up here. So we need to care about them and to bring them in here legally so we can vet them. Second thing is, this is catching fire. Our U.S. Congressman, Republican, just issued a press release. This would be Congressman Tom Emmer, Brad Finstead, Pete Stauber, and Michelle Fischbach, and they strongly condemn the sanctuary state. Again, last session, the DFL-controlled trifecta already passed driver's license for illegals, just like yours. And they're going to give them government health care effective January 1, 2025. So, I mean, we've already put a carrot out there to keep bringing this type of thing in here. So please stay involved. I want to thank again the county commissioners, and I believe this resolution has been sent all across the state to county commissioners to consider passing. We need to push back on this hard. Thank you, God bless you, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Senator. Anyone else wish to approach the mic?
I'm Tracy Davenport. I live in Hutchinson, Minnesota. I am very glad that you guys have this on the docket. I'm glad that everyone came out to support it. One of the things that's really critical is the money that always falls into play. We're coming across, Forbes said 27 billion in federal funding of America's sanctuary cities. We have to push away from having that money drive us to what happens in our communities. And so therefore, by having this is saying to everyone that it is critical for us to have legal immigrants here, but not illegals. Everyone here worked very hard to what we have. If they want to become legal immigrants and come here, that's fine. But we have to remember to keep money out of a lot of our decisions, and so I'm glad that we're pushing for this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Al Frederickson, Collins Township. I appreciate the resolution. It appears to me that the sanctuary state drive is in defiance of the United States Constitution. There's a time and a place for civil disobedience, and I hope that if it does pass, the county will consider disobeying the sanctuary state. But I do appreciate the resolution and for everyone here.
Thank you.
Morning. My name's Diane Robinson. I'm from Hutchinson. And I just want to thank the board for this meeting, for the resolution. Thank you, Ryan. Everybody that's been involved. I just am delighted that we're doing something. And I want to just thank everybody for coming. It was so last minute, and I just thank you for coming, and I just thank you for this resolution. Thank you.
Mic's open for anyone.
Dennis Schaefer, Hutch Township. I have a question about this. If this were to pass through the state, would it open up the gates for illegals to be voting in our elections legally? Because they're not citizens, they could still vote. And I agree with Tracy, if that is the case, the Democrats are buying votes.
We'll call on Senator Gruenhagen to perhaps answer that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, based on last session when they passed driver's license for illegals without any, we tried to put some type of notation on there that they're not eligible for voting, and the Democrats voted it all down. So, if you look at their actions versus what they say, it is about votes. And they really don't care about the illegal immigrants when you see what's happening to them. They'll just want votes at any cost. That's my perspective. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Craig Bishop from McLeod County here. I live in Hutchinson. I support the resolution. Thank you guys for bringing this up. This is, in my opinion, this is all about cancel culture. That's why they want to get rid of our flag. They want to destroy our culture in our country, in our county, and our traditions. So we can't let this happen. We can't afford it, and we can't really let them destroy our country. So thank you. I support the resolution.
Good morning. My name's Martin Tansetter from Sumter Township. I agree with every single statement that's been made and what you're presenting. I want to thank you for putting this together and sending this statement in. And I want to maybe do a service to everyone here who is choosing not to come up and say that I think everyone here agrees with what you're doing. I also believe that our government is founded on debate. And so for anyone here who does not agree with this, please, I'm asking you, come forward and explain what your thoughts are, what your logic is of why you think this is a good idea. Because we are a nation founded on debate, so bring that forth. But if you don't come forth, then I would like to say to the board, every single chair here agrees with you and thanks you.
I think that was bad timing on my part. I do agree. I'm Damien Amberg. I'm from Glencoe here. My wife is from Thailand. We've been together for 8 years, married for 4. I want to echo Mr. or Senator Gruenhagen's response. We do need legal immigrants. I mean, we're all from around this area, from small towns. We thrive on it. They're part of our community. But going through the legal immigration process, it's hell. It was, 3 or 4 years, thousands and thousands of dollars. I had to be vetted. I had to give up all my financial statements. She's highly educated. She has a degree, highly technical job, speaks 4 or 5 languages. We went through this whole process. They had to make sure that when she got here, she wouldn't be a burden. If I lose my job, she loses her job. We fall on hard times. We have to, end up on welfare, what have you. Things happen. She's at risk of being deported. But we could have chose the other way. Have her come across the border, she would have been making money on her own, living off taxpayers' time. So not only do I support this measure, but I also just want to raise attention to the fact that we need just legal immigration reform. Thank you.
Very good.
Hi, I'm Sandy Adams Bruins. I live in Silver Lake. I had the unfortunate situation years ago to deal with ICE, and I made a friend with that, an ICE agent. And I texted him last night and asked if there was anything he'd like to say about this meeting, and he said, I'm just gonna read you the text, and maybe this will help some of you. He said, I really wish I could help you, but I am unable to comment. Unfortunately, I'm not protected by the First Amendment in this situation. You can always reach out to our public email box, and I wanted to make sure you guys got this. It's stpaul.outreach@icedhs.gov. And that's their public affairs, and maybe they'd be able to assist. And he just said, thank you very much for all of your support.
Can you read that again, please?
Yes.
The link?
stpaul.outreach@ice.dhs.gov. Thank you.
Thank you. Mic's open, anyone?
Yes, my name is Mark McCaleb. I'm from Hutchinson. And 2 points that have not come up. I know a number of people who have legally immigrated to this country. And I have asked all of them, there's at least 6 of them, and asked them what their thoughts were in this. and every single one of them said they need to come across legally. That's number one. Number two, if you look at the FDA, some of their warnings that are coming through as far as various diseases, polio, measles, you name them, and you find out where those outbreaks are. They are all in areas where people are allowing in sanctuary states, sanctuary cities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is James Keckley. I live in Glencoe. And I just had a question. This resolution, did I understand right that this was forwarded to all the rest of the commissioners and the rest of the counties in Minnesota?
That's what I heard.
I don't know. I can't answer that.
And it's starting here?
Sheila, did you say, did you send it?
Keep
to
that in mind,
the
folks. It's starting
administration?
here, right now, with us. And that's huge. I guess my thought is, if this 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution was ratified in 1869, and if we can convince all the Board of Commissioners across the state of Minnesota to adopt this, anything that is put up against it is against our Constitution, usurps our Constitution, and is null and void. And if we come together as communities across the state, this will never stand. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jose Luciano. Yes, I am an immigrant. Pardon me. I concur with the gentleman in the back. This room is filled with folks that support this resolution. I can't, my heart is broken thinking of these law enforcement gentlemen in New York City who is just embracing this flow that got the living tar beat out of them. Those guys made it down to Arizona by the next day, and they're in California today, they say. This system is corrupt. One thing to keep your eye on, I don't know why this is, but our governor has a certain man love for Newsom. I don't get it. Everything California does, Minnesota has to do. I don't get it. EVs, whatever, and I'm not against EVs, but I mean everything. We don't have a smog problem here. They do. They have an energy problem there. We don't. I don't understand it. He just follows everything. I'm wondering if he wants to be on his board when he gets elected someday. That's the idea. I don't know. But keep an eye on what Newsom's doing, and you'll see what will come out of St. Paul. Just my thoughts.
Mic's open, anyone? It's open to everyone.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, hold on, we got one coming.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Nagel.
Warren, excuse me, Warren Clammer, Stewart. And just a few comments, and I want to thank the board and our newly elected, recently elected at least, county attorney. You've, to bring this up and offer us this opportunity, and hopefully it'll pass around the state and show that some of this stuff has to come to an end. We don't have resources in our country anymore, and especially our state, the way the tax and spending is going on, to cover unlimited illegal immigration. We all want to help people, but there's a limit to where if you take help, there'll be nothing left for anybody, and we'll all be in a terrible state of affairs. And another thing that you have to watch out for, my wife worked at 3M for over 32 years and retired out of there. and all of a sudden they noticed that their checks were getting smaller. And quietly and without anybody knowing, they found out after researching it that the state changed the tax brackets and took money away from these people. Not only are they overspending, spent the budget, it's very well outlined in this one handout. And whoever put that together should also be commended, along with the people that put this resolution together. That the things that are handled under the cover, this state flag was another thing. They set up a commission and they're shoving it down our throat without any input from the voters. And so, once again, I found out about this at the very last moment, and I'm glad I did, from a couple nephews of mine. And I'm really proud of the board for doing this work, and our county attorney and our administrative person for work, and the employees of the county for putting this all together. And especially to all of you for attending, to show how important this is to us in our state. Thank you.
Edward Becker, Glencoe. I just want to make a simple statement. I mean, being of the somewhat younger generation, but I am also a grandfather. Our community is going to get ruined, in my opinion, and our children, our grandchildren will have nothing. But giving a reference to the movie Bug's Life, I mean, we're the ants, and if we sit and say nothing, no one is going to know what we think. So we have to get out and go to the coffee shop, go to wherever you gather as a community and talk about this, and make sure that your voice gets heard and gets back to the commissioners so they know very clearly where the community stands. Showing up in support is great, but once again, if we say nothing, they know nothing. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, go ahead. First of all, thank you all for coming. Thank you for all your, excuse me, I'm a little under the weather up here, but thank you for coming. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for echoing my feelings, if not the feelings of the entire board, regarding legal immigration. And that's was really important for me to get out today, and that came out in droves from this room. So I appreciate that. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a humongous sports fan. And I reference that because I saw something, or was told during the conversation since this got brought up, that the security at the Super Bowl will be better than the border this weekend. And I think they're right. All right? So, again, those of you who know me, I don't like to get long-winded, so I'm going to stop with that. But again, thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. It means the world to us to see this support. Been a commissioner 10 years, the room's never been this full. Usually we have to beg you to come, but we're here. Mr. Chair, I move to approve Resolution 24CB14.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Nagel to approve Resolution 24CB14 and a second by Kruger. Is there any further discussion on the motion? This would be an opportunity for board members to make any comments. And Joe, you've already had yours. I'll just say that my feelings and thoughts are embedded within the resolution itself. I really don't need to go beyond that. I think that that's perfectly puts out the language that I feel expresses my biggest concerns. There are others that go on and on, but this hits the high points and hopefully delivers that message accurately. And this is just absolutely awesome to see all of you have taken time out of your Saturday morning to join us. It shows how important that is. Absolutely how important that is to you. This is affecting your community and everything around you, and you showed up here today, so thank you for that.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
And I also want to thank those who showed up this morning to show their support for this resolution. I'm in support of the resolution 100%. I think, you know, what we really need to do is look at immigration reform rather than opening the floodgates. And I think the majority of the people here feel the same way. The majority of the people that I represent feel the same way. And I thank those who brought the resolution forward. Thanks to Commissioner Kruger for starting the conversation. Much appreciated.
Mr. Chair, I'm in agreement with the resolution also. Just a sad thing I heard last week that we have people coming across through Canada and ended up one family froze to death out there, so it's a sad story. Thank you.
Commissioner Kruger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of things. The chair said that the resolution speaks for itself, and it does. We did a lot of work. I mean, I just can't thank everybody that was involved here enough. The points that were important to me are conveyed in the resolution. There's a couple of things that weren't mentioned today. Our food shelves are strained to the end. I mean, there's no, across the country, are strained. Our health care, again, they'll be eligible in 2025. Anybody coming across for our state-run health care, plus right now, they can go into the hospitals and get care, and there's nobody to pay for it. And then the one big thing that nobody brought up today is fentanyl. I mean, fentanyl, I'm an old guy, and I even asked my grandkids and my kids, I don't get it. I don't know what it does or why it's sneaking in. I mean, I kind of do because it's cheap and they lace things with stuff, but I mean, look at the people that are dying from fentanyl, and I don't know why there isn't a bigger outcry for that. Legal immigration, we need, and we're spending so much time, we're so polarized fighting, where all our money's going through stuff like this instead of actually trying to correct the legal immigration system. My son works in Seneca, and he has friends of legal immigration, and some of them are fed up with the whole system and going back home. They said it's just a mess here. They can't get anything squared away. I mean, it's more like an invasion than an immigration. We're not so bad up here in Minnesota, but if you watch the Texas border and the Arizona border, and that's all I have to say other than thanks everyone for coming, and my good feelings about this resolution. I'm gonna put more kudos to our administrator. She worked hard, she checked for some advice and did some checking, and I can't say, and obviously our county attorney, but they did a great job writing this, so thank you, everyone.
Any further comments, or we'll call the question? We're gonna go right to a roll call on this one. Commissioner Nagel?
Yes.
I'm yes. Commissioner Kruger?
Aye.
Commissioner Schmalz?
Aye.
Commissioner Luthens?
Yes.
Today, sitting in front of both the American flag and the flag of Minnesota, we declare this 5-0 resolution passed.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
with no more business being seen, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Recess.
Recess, thank you.
We have a motion by
Second.
Nagel, second by Commissioner Kruger to recess until our next county board meeting, which will be 9 a.m. Tuesday, February 20th, here at the McLeod County Government Center. Any further discussion?
I expect you all to be there.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you so much for coming here this morning today. Thank you, everyone.
I've got one other thing that I didn't know should maybe be read into the minutes, and other people have said that, but Einstein had a quote, "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but those who watch them without doing anything."